Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name's Ali. I'm 64 and a half and I'm running up to an unexpected early retirement, and this channel documents my preparations for that event and hopefully how I managed to survive afterwards. Today, before we get too far into May, I just want to quickly look back and analyse my discretionary spending in April, especially as my budget is going to become more constrained, and probably what I spent in April is never going to happen again. And just a quick hello to you all from Kitty. Here she is. Yeah, you probably heard her barking on the garden tour video. I just wanted to share with you, we had a really funny incident yesterday. A squirrel came into the garden and went behind the wheelie bins, and Kitty went to investigate, and the rather scared squirrel leapt out from behind the wheelie bins and just landed on her face just like this, didn't it? She's not really recovered yet. It really was funny. I wish I could have videoed it for you. But anyway, let's talk about more practical things. April's discretionary spending. Once I've allocated all of the money to my current sinking funds from my current office salary, in April I was left with £234.46, and out of that I was allocating £45 a week for groceries and general living. I don't stick to that £45 a week religiously. I just use it as a guideline, really, so that I don't spend more than that amount every week and therefore end up with nothing left at the end of the month. So I also write everything down on my spreadsheet, so every night if I've been out and I've spent something during the day, I come back, I get out my receipts, I record how much it was, how much I've saved, perhaps if I've used a discount card or something, and what the items were. So it was really quite easy for me to cut and paste those lines of my spreadsheet into a different spreadsheet, sort them out, and so I should be able to categorize what I spent in April and analyze it a bit. Now, some of you, I think, have been a bit concerned that I never treat myself. Well, April was a total treat with the discretionary spending, really, and it's probably never, well, it is never going to happen again, because I don't think I'm ever going to have this sort of income to splash about again. So first of all, the more obvious treats, I had 2 ice creams when I took Kitty to the park on 2 different occasions. And on one occasion, I don't actually think that the transaction went through. And the more I think about it, the more I think that the ice cream man just pressed cancel on that. We've become friends over the years, and I think he just decided on that day that he was going to give me a free ice cream without telling me, which was really nice of him. And then the other treat, I took a work colleague to the cafe next to the building where I work, and we had coffee and cake. I have a loyalty card with that cafe, and I managed to save 60 pence, but 2 coffees and 2 cakes came to £10.75, and I really had to hold myself together when the lady said that it was £10.75, and that includes the 60p saving. So I'm never going to be able to afford to go out for coffee and cake again. That really was my last coffee and cake. So specific treats in April, £13.25. Then I spent a fair amount of money on household items, things that I think I need to make my life a little bit easier, and also just to get various jobs ticked off the to-do list before I retire. So I bought a certificate frame for my son, who did a course last summer, and we really wanted to get the certificate framed so he could put it on his office wall for his job, which he starts this summer. I bought some foam dog steps for Cassie so that she can get onto the new IKEA sofa without struggling. It's a lot higher than the old sofa and she can't jump onto it. So now she's got these bobbly foam dog steps that she can run up. They were $29.99 from Amazon, not too bad. I went to Primark and I bought some ballet pumps and some flip-flops for the summer, total £6, absolute steal. Then I went to Jysk, I think that's how you say it, which is a Scandinavian hardware store, just for a look round because I've never been in there before. And I picked up 2 toilet brushes for a total of £2, which I think was a good deal. I used to get them in local supermarkets for about 75p, but they only stock more upmarket versions now, and there's no way I'm paying £9.50 for a toilet brush. I also had to buy a new carpet comb from Amazon. I bought one ages and ages ago and it's been brilliant. I use it to sort of comb the stairs to get pug hair off. And my late pug was a fawn pug and they shed the whole time, and the only way to get the hair off is with one of these carpet combs. And after she died, I decided I really needed to get all her hair out of my car because I didn't really want to be reminded of her every time I got in the car. So I went out there with my then carpet comb and was combing away, and my son needed a lift somewhere, so I threw the dog and him in the car and we drove off, take him where he want. I got back and realised I'd left the carpet comb on my front wall. Now where I live, it might be the same as where you live. You leave something on your front wall, it's a signal you don't want it, it's free for the taking. So I think somebody took my carpet comb, and fair game to them, my mistake. So I had to buy a new one, $3.49. Then because I was still in a bit of a state after or during even my 4 weeks being signed off with work-related stress, I lost the key to my side gate. And I can't really risk just having one key, because if I lose that, I then have to pay a lot of money to have the lock changed. So I paid £9 for a new key. I got 10% discount because it was at a booth at the supermarket where I work. So it should have been £10. I paid £9, saved £1. And then, as I think I mentioned in my last video, I went to B&Q and I bought 4 buckets because I'm saving my bath water at the moment for flushing the loo in an attempt to get my water bill down. That was a story I told in the video called Sinking Deeper. And while I was at B&Q, I also bought 3 herbs. I think you saw them in the garden tour video. That was the bay tree, the little bay tree, the oregano plant in a pot, and the chives in a pot. I think they were 3 for £10. So I also bought 2 bags of topsoil to mix with the potting compost to help with water retention for potting up various things in the garden. So that altogether was £12.42, and I bought those on a gift card that I got through my office job, and I can't remember what the percentage saving was on that, but there was a saving there. I also paid an extra £8 for petrol because of driving my son around a bit, and he has reimbursed me for that, so that was 100% saving. The total spend on household items was £96.14. Then there were a few bits and pieces I bought when I was at the supermarket on various shifts, and I'd forgotten my water bottle, or I'd forgotten to eat before I went. So bottles of water, sandwiches, etc. came to £4.76, and I saved £2.97 on that. So £2.97 saving, £4.76 paid. This is why it's good to analyse your spending, because I need to remember now, don't forget your water bottle. Make sure you eat before you go, or pack something to take with you, because I'm not actually going to be able to afford just to rush around and get myself a sandwich and a bottle of water because I've forgotten. £4.76. That's quite a lot of money, really, relatively speaking, when I think about the cut in income that I'm going to have. Right, normal groceries, what I mean, everyday groceries that I would probably buy every month, I spent £12.19 on those in April, and that price included a £6.80 savings, so that would have been about £20 altogether. But there was a £6.80 saving. I bought carrots, potatoes, and hang on a minute, that column needs to be expanded, eggs, milk, yogurt, water, lemonade. I know I get criticised for that, but it's not for me. Strawberry jam, because I'd actually run out of homemade, and some bananas, some bread, and that also included a refund on a big bag of dog biscuits. I got a £3.75 refund because my old dog used to eat these biscuits, but the one that has survived, she doesn't like them, so there was no point keeping that bag. It was well in date, so I took it back and got a refund. Don't ever worry about doing that. As long as you've got a long date on the thing that you're not going to use, you should be able to get a refund, or if you haven't got a receipt, you should be able to get an exchange, and it's worth it. And then April obviously contained Easter, and one of my sons and his partner, they came up from London for the long Easter weekend, and because I don't see them that often, I decided to treat them. And the Easter hospitality in total came to £98.32, and that includes a saving of £24. I don't really particularly want to go into what I treated them to, but I will admit it involved a case of wine and some Prosecco, and we had a lovely celebratory weekend. And as I said, this is never going to happen again, so I thought, I'm never going to be able to do this again. It's my son's birthday month as well. I thought we're just going to have great hospitality, we're going to have some fun, we're going to have some laughs, and we did. So 98.32 on Easter hospitality, and that was for 5 of us for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which I don't think is too bad, really, all told. I couldn't have taken them out for a meal for that, so I think we did quite well for a generous weekend of hospitality. And then what else was left? At the end of the month, when I've got a little bit of money left, I like to use that to either round up or round down some of my sinking funds. So I actually put £2.91 onto my 0% credit card to bring that down to a round number. I rounded up my well-being sinking fund by a penny because I hate it when it says 99 pence. I moved £4.44 to personal savings for the same reason, just to round it up to the nearest 10. And I also put £2.54 into the exterior renovation sinking fund for the same reason. And that was it, zero balance. So that's what I spent my £234.46 discretionary spending on in April. And that included the so-called £45 a week food budget, which, as I said, I don't religiously spend on food. I just use that to sort of keep my spending on track each week so that I've got money left at the end of the month. So that was that, April discretionary spending. This month in May, it really is going to be a lot tighter. I think I explained that in a previous video that I'm £70 down on my net salary this month, and I'm going to have the £45 a week to spend, but only £24 left over, so that's effectively £5 a week pocket money. I've already spent the first week's £45 on that grocery haul that you saw a few videos ago. So week 1 of May, there really isn't going to be any shopping. I will be living on what's in the fridge, what's in the pantry, and what's in the freezers. And then when we get to about the 7th or 8th of May, I will be able to tap into the next £45 if I need to. So there we are. That's what I spent in April. I will not be living the high life like that again. But it was really nice to do that one last time before I could, and to treat my family. Anyway, so if you found that interesting, like and comment. I'll try and answer your questions. And in the next video, I'm not 100% sure what we will talk about. Maybe a little bit more about the sinking funds that I didn't mention before, and how that has helped me reevaluate my budget for when I get to the point where I won't have an office income anymore. So thank you very much for all your comments, by the way, because it has actually made me revisit my budgets for May and June and July. And it's also made me take a more critical look at my potential income in August, and how I need to trim my sinking funds and my budget in order to meet that, and to start seriously thinking, really crunching numbers about how I'm going to close the gap, any deficit between my income and what I think is necessary outgoings. And so we'll talk about those as we go on. And thank you again for calling by and listening. If you've got any questions, let me know, and we'll talk again next time. Thank you. Bye bye now.